Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All those that are invisible are filled with Brahman. All those that are visible are also fully permeated by Brahman. The whole universe has come out of the whole Brahman. Brahman is still full, although the whole universe has come out of it. Oh, peace, peace, peace. So today we are starting to read one Upanishad which is called Shwetashwatara Upanishad. Big name. To remember is difficulty. Shweta means the white. Shweta. Ashwatara, two meaning. Ashwatara is the senses. They are called compared sometimes. That means that senses, pure senses, which leads to the realization of the truth. Or Shweta Ashwatara. Ashwatara is the name of a senses, or Ashwatara also is a mule, a pure mule or a male calf. That means powerful, very strong, pure calf. That means it is a credit given to the teachings of the Upanishads. Anyhow, so this Shwetashwatara Upanishad. So we have, as I find that there is one book, Swami Tagishananda Swami's one book is there. Another book is there, Swami Lokeshwarananda Swami. This book is easy to read. Swami Lokeshwarananda always, he makes things very easy and in the modern language, in modern term, people can relate to stories. So, but we'll decide which book you want to purchase. We can talk about that later. But we'll just start with the introduction from Tagishananda Swami's book. Upanishads, as we know, Upanishads are the cream of the Vedas. Vedas always have two segments. One is the actual Karma Kanda, another is Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda means that part which teaches us how to perform the sacrifice, how to offer to different gods and goddesses, how to put the fire, and fire god will carry the oblations, to the respective deities. And then what happens, what you ask for, God will be pleased to give you. There are gods, and many gods and goddesses can be worshipped through the Karma Kanda aspect of it. And Jnana Kanda, Karma Kanda people do for getting worldly peace, worldly enjoyment, worldly grace. And also it can be given to the going to heaven after death, or even get some power. All these are achieved by the Karma Kanda. But karma cannot lead you to self-realization. Because karma brings desire brings karma, another karma. One karma you finish, then your desire comes to have something else. So that karma will be to be practiced again, because he's hearing. So karma cannot lead you to the self-realization. Karma always is bound, will give some result. Good karma gives some good result, bad karma bad. But when you do the sacrificial karma, you are doing auspicious karma, so you get the benefit of that. There is austerity, there are rules and regulations of performance of this. But when you are getting tired of doing much karma and getting some result, and again doing more karma to get some result, and there is no perfect satisfaction, then people go to understand that what is the ultimate truth. And then they go on inquiring about the highest truth. What is the truth? Why I am here? What is the universe? Who has created the universe? All these questions come. And even if I go to heaven, is it permanent? What shall I do with it if it does not give me eternal liberation? All these questions comes in the Upanishadic time. And then the sages meditated and contemplated, and they have just presented to the world their own experiences, which is liberation, which is freedom, freedom from all bondage. No any more rotation into the cycle of birth and death to get total freedom. That is the teaching of the Upanishad. So, a little small introduction. This Swami Tagishananda, in his introduction, he says that is Shwetashwatara Upanishad. Three words: Shweta, Ashwata, Upanishad. Shwetashwatara Upanishad. So it is all conjoined sentence. So Shweta Ashwatara Upanishad. That is the name. This is a very short Upanishad, not like Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka, which are very considered very ancient Upanishads. It is 133 mantras are there, sacred verses, and it has been divided into 6 chapters. So it has 6 chapters, 113 verses, mantras, and it's consisting of the teachings of the Vedic wisdom. It belongs to Rig, Sham, Jaju, Atharva. There are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharva Veda. But this falls under, and Yajurveda has 2 parts: Shukla Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda. So it falls under the division of Krishna Yajurveda. So it belongs to the Krishna Yajurveda. It gets its name from this Shwetashwatara Upanishad. Some say it has come out of a realized soul, sage, whose name was Shwetashwatara. A gentleman, a rishi. His name was Shwetashwatara. So it has been named after him, some suggest. And it is said that he has taught to his disciples, and it continued from them. So Shwetashwatara is the name of the sage who has experienced the truth and told after experience to his disciple. Like, Ramakrishna Gospel. Ramakrishna experienced everything, and then what he said to his disciples, and that comes as Gospel of Ramakrishna. So similarly, the Shwetashwatara sage experienced the highest, and what he related that description to his disciples. The word Shwetashwatara does not seem to be the original name of the rishi, but only an honorific title. It's to honor people.
So it's part of the Yajurveda.
Krishna Yajurveda. Yajurveda has 2 divisions. One is Shukla, white Yajurveda, black Yajurveda. So it forms of the 2 divisions of that. It is all called the Krishna Yajurveda.
So the
Shwetashwatara Upanishad. Shwetashwatara. Nana Shwetwa. Shwetashwatara.
Okay. But that person or that part of was it part of the Yajurveda? How did the Yajurveda come if it didn't come from that person? You know what I'm asking?
No, Vedas are so many revelation of so many sages. It is one of the Upanishad of the Yajurveda.
Also-
Yajurveda also have every Upanishad has Vedas, so many Vedas.
So are there a lot of,
Titira, anyhow.
are there many Upanishads in the Krishna Yajur?
All those Vedas, every Veda has some Upanishads. And that I said, first part is the Karma Kanda. You do this ritual, gain this, go to heaven, this, that. When people in that lineage, then they go to the ultimate experience, they got all the Upanishads there. So the crown is the Upanishad. And each Veda has Upanishads. So this is Krishna Yajurveda. So the word Shwetashwatara does not seem to be the original name of the rishi, the sage, but only an honorific title. According to Shankarananda, the commentator, one of the commentators, the word means one who has controlled his senses. Shweta means pure, Aswa is the indriyas, indriya means the senses. That means Shwetashwatara means one person, one sage, who has purified his all senses, means he sees divine everywhere. Purification of the senses means what? Through the eyes we see the world. Do we see God? No. To the ears we hear the mundane talk. Do we see Om? No. So every senses should bring the wisdom. They are pure senses. So the sages, his senses were pure, controlled. He mastered his senses. That is one meaning. According to others, it means a pure mule or a male cow, meaning Shweta Aswa. Aswa is the horses, no? Mule. In ancient days, it was quite a common practice to add suffix like Rishava, Pungava, etc. to names as a mark of respect or preeminence of a person. So that's why this name has been given to him by honoring his glory. Either way, the word signifies the greatness of the teacher. Simple thing, whatever is named, Shwetashwatara, indicates the glorious name of the realized rishi. It is not one of the more ancient Upanishads that are generally considered to be major ones. Major Upanishads are 10 Upanishads are called major Upanishads. Why it is major? Because Shankaracharya took them and made some commentaries. Isha, Katha, Kena, Mundaka, Mandukka, like that. So 10 Upanishads. But it is not that one of the more, it is not ancient in that way, like Chandogya, like Brihadaranyaka, like Isha Upanishad, is ancient Upanishad. But that are generally considered to be the major ones, and that form the basis of the inquiry into the Brahma Sutras. These sutras do not allude to any of the verses original to the Shwetashwatara even once. But many of these mantras are quoted by the commentator in support of their doctrines. So it is said, though it is not mentioned in the Vyasadeva, in the commentator of the Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutra, when you know that Brahma Sutra is what? You don't know? Do you know anyone Brahma Sutra? Brahma Sutra means the Vyasadeva has just put in a very concise words through several small sentences to give the entire philosophy of Vedanta and to memorize. You can know what is the entire philosophy logically. Upanishads, there is no logic much. It is an experience. Ramakrishna said, I saw God. I talked to mother. Like that. Their experience. But Swami Vivekananda, why God? Gives reason, argument, philosophy. So Brahma Sutra is that book which is reason based. And when the commentators like Shankara, like other commentators, they always refer Upanishads as their support for their argument. So in this Brahma Sutra, when their acharyas or the Shankara and other commentators are writing notes, they referred to these verses of Upanishads. And in that Upanishad, the Shwetashwatara Upanishad is also quoted many times. So the commentators, in support of their doctrines, the many mantras they have quoted. This shows this what an important position of authority this book, this Upanishad, small though, held in the eyes of the great commentators, notwithstanding its comparatively later origin. It has been created, it has been, it Upanishads, no, Upanishads are the experience of the sages. So ancient sages experienced, and those are commenting for a long time. And as time passes, others also experiencing. So Shwetashwatara falls not in the earlier category, but the later category. Now, this Upanishad, it does not advocate any particular system of orthodox philosophy, as elaborated in the six systems of philosophy or in their expositions. It means it does not advocate, this particular Upanishad does not say that this is a particular orthodox philosophy, that one philosophy is explaining that philosophy. No. Rather, it elaborates the systems of philosophy. That means all the philosophical ideas can be found here. There are passages in this Upanishad which are allied in thought to dualism. Some are for Vishishtadvaita, qualified non-dualism, and some are non-dualistic, non-dualism, and other branches of Vedanta. That means in this Upanishad, you can find the expression of God, worshipping God or thinking of God in a dualistic line. Also, it can be in a qualified non-dualism, Vishishta Advaita, or absolute non-dual. All these ideas are brought in one place as it were. Sankhya and Yoga ideas find a prominent place in certain verses. Even here, you can find that he is quoting Sankhya philosophy. That same idea resonates here. That means it is the Upanishad where blending of all the philosophies and between all the Sankhya and Mimamsha, etc. Not Mimamsha, Sankhya philosophy and others, Yoga philosophy, they are also have a place in it. It lays equal emphasis on jnana, bhakti, and other paths of spiritual life. It is like a harmonizing type of Upanishad where jnana, karma, bhakti, all are also blended. The various aspects of Godhead find their natural place in it and adjust themselves to each other without any conflict. As Thakur said, no? All these different ideologies, they can be there. They are not conflicting. They are complementary. So this Upanishad gives a taste of that. If in certain passages it is Vedic in language and conception, in another it is also Puranic in expression and presentation. Somewhere you can find the Vedic wisdom, somewhere you can find Puranic stories, not stories, but Puranic ideas are all presented. That means it's a harmony. In fact, it would seem to be an attempt of a great synthetic mind. That means Shwetashwatara says, like Sri Ramakrishna, we can think, that his mindset was synthesis, not dissension. And he has incorporated all the ideas of different philosophies and all this path of analysis, bhakti, jnana, etc., yoga, etc. In fact, it would seem to be an attempt of a great synthetic mind to reconcile the various conflicting views. It is whether it is philosophical views or religious views, which were current at the time of its composition. As some of you know spoke of the present day. So in Shwetashwatara says during his time, what were the conflicting ideas in the society? Here is a synthesis of that. It reminds us of a similar but a popular attempt in this direction made by Bhagavan Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. As in the Bhagavad Gita, we find talking about jnana, bhakti, devotion, and karma, and all this, and it's blended together. Each one chapter is called yoga, yeah? Moksha yoga, তারপরে বিষাদ yoga, জ্ঞান বিজ্ঞান yoga. So everything ends in yoga, union with God. You follow one path, Vishada yoga. When you are despondent, something happens in life very miserable, painful, no? And in that painful mood, then you go to depression. But that depression, if you go to God, then what happens? It connects with you, God. To that also you can realize. No, Arjuna, he was despondent. And he would not fight and he was bewildered and all confusion. Then, but this Bishad, this despondency, brought him to Krishna. And Krishna solved the problem and he entered into yoga, union with God. So each chapter, 18 chapters, are different ways to have yoga. Everything is yoga, union with the Supreme Self. So this reminds that similarly, this book is also, this Upanishad is also to just lead everyone to that union of the divine, like Bhagavan, and a synthetic book. The modern student will therefore do well to approach the study of this work in the same broad and reverent spirit in which he approaches the study of the Gita, unfettered by conventions and prejudices. So he's suggesting that we should read this book with this angle, broad understanding about that all philosophies that are conflicting, they all synthesize and people can follow every path. So this is the introduction given here. I would like to read this introduction also, what Swami Lokeswarananda Maharaj has given. We will have two perspectives of the same. Shwetashwatara Upanishad by Swami Lokeswarananda. In the introduction, he writes, it's very cryptic, not big one, but concise. He says, Shwetashwatara Upanishad is found in the Krishna Yajur Veda. Now you remember, Veda has two, Riksham, Yaju, Atharva, and Yajur Veda had two dissensions. One is Krishna, one is Shweta. So it is Shukla. So see, this is the Krishna Yajur Veda. Shwetashwatara is the name of the sage who compiled the Upanishad. Literally, the word Shwetashwatara means white mule. White Shweta, Ashwatara, a horse-like animal or a mule. It could mean someone who has a white mule. Another more probable meaning is that, however, is that Shweta means pure and Ashwatara refers to the sense organs. You may remember in the Katha Upanishad, the body is compared to a chariot, self is the master sitting inside that chariot. Sindriyani Nahu, they say these indriyas, the senses, are the hayan, the horses. So it is considered in the Katha Upanishad, the sense organs are like the horses. I give an example. Suppose 10 horses are carrying your carriage. 10 horses are controlled by the reins, corrected in the hand of the driver, no? And driver is the buddhi. He wants to drive the horse this side, that side, he pulls this side, that side, and the horses run that way. If it is controlled. If the person has no control over the horses, then The horses will take in whatever direction it wants. But these horses are considered with the 10 organs. What are the 5 gyanendriyas? 5 organs of the eyes, ear, nose, etc. Chakshu, karna, nasika, yuva, tongue. And 5 organs of action. Bak, pani, pado, payu, usta. The speech, pani, hand, feet. So these are the 5, 5, 10. And mind is the reins. That is called 11th organ. Anyhow, so here, this Shwetashwatara means that a person who has controlled all the senses. A reference that how he tallies with the horses and the senses. A reference in the Kathopanishad. We all know how difficult horses are to control. If you can control them, then they are your friends. But if you cannot, they will take any amount of liberty with you. They will take you anywhere they like. They will be the master, not you. It is the same way with the sense organs. So this sage, Shwetashwatara, had controlled his sense organs. He is pure, Shweta, pure in the sense that he has established his self-mastery. So, Shwetashwatara is the name of the sage who has mastered his all the senses and brought it under control. What is the message of this Upanishad, Shwetashwatara Upanishad? The Upanishad opens up with some questions. The very beginning is that King Karanam Brahma. What is the cause? Brahma, is it the cause of this universe? That is the question. So he says, what is the message of the Upanishad? The Upanishad opens with some questions. Question is what? What is the cause of the universe? Who created us? Where do we come from? Where shall we go in the end? Who is controlling us? Why is it that we are sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy? All these questions. It's a very fundamental question of our life. But that's why the karma kanda people do get some benefit of the results of enjoyment of in this life or in heaven. But that question comes in, that I have enough tasted the fun and joy of the world, but it is not absolute joy and it is followed by suffering. So what shall I do with this? So they try to go beyond, question who is beyond, where do we go after life? What is the cause of this universe? How the world came like that? So this spiritual question comes. The Upanishad says, the response of the Upanishad is, it is Brahman that is the cause of the universe. Brahman is the ultimate reality. Brahman is called the Paramatman, the cosmic self, because it is the self of all that exists. So ultimate truth is, it is Brahman. What is Brahman? It is the same Paramatman. That means cosmic self. And cosmic self, why? All the little self exists in that cosmic self. You, me, everything exists in that existence of the divine. The individual selves, that is the Jivatman, you, me, appear separate from the Paramatman and forms Nama and Ripu. The same reality separates himself from the cosmic. Individual soul is the same as Supreme Self. But in this play, it has been separated. So, and how it is separated? All are ocean water. But you name one water as ripple, you name another water as wave, you name another water in another form. It's called the bubble, foam. So you are called Narayana, he is called John, someone is called Jacob, someone is called whatever, Mary. These are only name and form is different. So these individual selves, Jivatman, appear separate from the Paramatma and from each other due to their separate names and forms. You know, if you do not know someone, what do you describe? You describe the form. If you do not know the name, you say, oh, that gentleman who comes over here is little tall, little this, little heavy structure, or little glass in the eyes. So we are describing the form. And name and form too makes it separate from each other. We are all human beings, but we separate ourselves by name and form. So these names and forms, however, are only attributes. But these are names and forms are only attributes. It is the water, content is the water. All the waves are the water, H2O. Names and forms are only creating distinction between one to other to understand separately. So the names and forms, however, are only attributes called upadhis, superimposed on the Paramatma. And the individual cells are in reality one with the Paramatma. Each drop of water, each wave, each ripple is nothing but ocean, but only separated by name and form. So the Jivatman are so many. It is Paramatman. But Paramatman, when added name and form, it becomes Jivatman. The ocean, calm ocean is named as tsunami, named as wave, named as billow, named as bubble, ripple, but it is nothing but water. So Paramatman, it is Paramatman, only added with name and form. So this is the idea. When we realize we are that supreme Paramatman, then there is no more birth and death for us. The Upanishad says that is because we do not know this Brahman, which is the cosmic self of us, that we go through the cycle of birth and death and suffer. We suffer because we think we are separate. But we are Paramatman. But we think we are Jivatman. And Jivatman, Paramatman, what is the distinction? Only making, you have a name and form, I have a name and form. But when the name and form are different, that creates the world. But the Upanishad says, like the gold ornament, all different designs, but it is gold alone. Like that same fire in different objects is separate, but it is the fire itself. Similarly, the Atman itself is the same. So the Upanishad says that it is because we do not know this Brahman, which is the cosmic self, that we go through the cycle of birth and death and suffer. To see many is the cause of bondage. To see one, the one behind the many, is the cause of all liberation. Simple. Spirituality is so simple. To see oneness is liberation. To see many is bondage. We live in bondage because we live in many. But if we know that many is one only, many, it appears many, name and form, but it is one only, then it is called spiritual. It is called realization. If the Sister Nivedita wrote in the introduction of the Swami Vivekananda's complete works, if many and the one, and many and the other are the same reality, telling who is worshipping whom? If many and one are the same, many appears in name and form. Forget the name and form. It is one. Then what? What is this? We are all one. Who is serving whom? God is serving God. So that idea. The goal of life is to attain the knowledge of the oneness of things, and through this knowledge to attain liberation. So this is this very simple introduction. Now the very first verse. Hari Om Brahmavadino vadanti. Hari Om. Say, otherwise you will fall asleep. Huh? Say with me, Hari Om. Again. Brahmo Vadino Vadanti. Brahmo Vadino Vadanti. They're saying, King Karanang Brahma. King Karanang Brahma. Kutasma Jata. Kutasma Jata. Jivama Kena. Jivama Kena. Kacha Sampratishtha. Kacha Sampratishtha. Kacha Sampratishtha. Kacha Sampratishtha. Adhishthita Kena. Adhishthita Kena. Sukhe Tareshu. Sukhe Tareshu. Vartamahe. Brahmavido. Gavastham. Hari Om. Brahmavadino vadanti. Brahmavadino means those who are discussing Brahmavid. Maybe they are knowers of Brahman or very scholarly people who know about Brahman, studied about Brahman. They vadanti. They started. The ancient time that was a tradition. When one Pandit, one scholar meets another Pandit, they start talking with each other and exchange their philosophies and sit and discuss the intricacies of spiritual life, intricacies of life and death and suffering and pain, how to transcend all these things. So, Brahmavadino, those who are Brahmavadi, Brahmavadi means the sages, those are who love to argue about Brahman, they met. Vadanti, they start discussing, saying. What he says, yeah, Brahmavadino vadanti, King Karanam Brahma. Brahma Kim Karanam. Brahman, Brahma means Brahman. Kim is a Karana, the cause. Is Brahman the cause of this entire universe? The one scholar is asking the other scholar. One philosopher is asking the other philosopher. Yeah, King Brahma Karana, is Brahman the cause of this universe, what I see before me? The sun, moon, stars, the earth, all these diverse things I see. Kim, is it? Is it Karanam, the cause? Brahman is the cause. Is it Brahman the cause of this creation? A very big question. Brahman does not do anything. Then if you say Brahma Karanam, they will say no. Brahma does not do anything. How it is Karanam? How it may be the cause? Cause and effect will be in duality. If Brahman is the absolute, how can it be? This world will come out of that. So, King Karanam Brahma. Brahma Kim Karanam, is Brahman the cause of the universe. Kutaha means from where? Kutaha Jatasma, where they are born. Where from it came? Kutasma Jataha. Kena, by what? Jivama, they are sustained. Where this universe come from? Is it from Brahman? How it is established, how it is sustained? Jivama, Antakale, Jivama, Karana, Kutasma Jata. Jivama Kena, Ka, where, Cha, Jivama, when is alive, when Where is that we come from? And since we come, where we are sustained, and where shall we go when our end comes? When we die, very simple. Where we die, where shall we go? Where do we come from? How we are established? Where do we go after death? So, jivama kena, kacha sampratishtha, udhishthita kena sukhotareshu, vartamaya brahma vida vyavastha. So it says that, O knowers of Brahman, you are all knower of Brahman, who controls us so that, who controls us that we become subject to the certain rules about pain and pleasure. In our life, we find pain and pleasure. So the knowers of Brahman tell us who controls us, who is controlling each of us. We think that we shall do so many things. Look at our life. Our life is so restrained, as if some divine force, unseen force, is controlling us. No, we want this. Why don't you get it? You try your best, but you don't come. It does not come to you. Then what? What is the force behind? That's the question. We do not know. What is that force? The knowers of Brahman tell us who controls us so that we become subject to certain rules about pain and pleasure. Pain and pleasure, suffering and joy, it comes as if who is controlling us from the beginning. These are the few questions. So when they met together, the holy people or the philosophical people, the pandits always start discoursing between them. That is the way the discussion continues. That is the ancient tradition. So it says it is used to be practiced among a practice among scholars to meet together on special occasions, such as at the time of a marriage or a service for the departed, and they would ask each other questions, all kinds of questions. Why this, why that? Sometimes they would try to find out who among them was the most clever and who knows more. And they would try to show off their own scholarship. That is the place to show their scholarship. So, listening to their debates was an interesting experience. One scholar would quote from the Bhagavad Gita, another would say, I do not recognize the Gita as the final authority. I shall quote from the Upanishads. The Shwetashwatara Upanishad starts out with such a meeting. One scholar asks the other, Kim Karan Brahma? Is Brahman the cause? Is Brahman the cause of this universe? If so, what is the nature of this cause? Is Brahman the material cause or the efficient cause? A table, for instance, the material cause of a table is wood, efficient cause is the carpenter. But what about this universe? If you see this world has come, so who created this universe? Anything created, see, there will be two items, two things are necessary. Object created and the person who creates. Huh? Say this lamp. Lamp is here. Lamp is an object, but it has karana, cause. Ki karan? The two cause. One, the material, it needs some metallic things. The wire, all this material thing you need. But material thing is not enough. There is a conscious entity, a person who has designed it and who worked on it and gives it shape and size and made it possible. And the example given here also, the table. This table I see, the table is two things are necessary. One, the material cause, and efficient cause. Nimitta karan আর উপাদান কারণ উপাদান মানে constitution, constituent particle. This building is done. How? It is a stone building. Stone is the constituent material. Stone, brick, or sand, cement, these are matter. But you need some engineer or need some mason or some carpenter who have worked on that wood and made it this table. So the table is a combination of two things. On the material cause, the wood, nail, glue, polish, whatever. These are necessary. Only your carpenter cannot bring out of nothing one table. But the material is remain without carpenter, you cannot get it the table. So for anything in the creation, two things are necessary. One is the material cause, that some material is needed. Another is the efficient cause, the who will perform and make it what you want. You want a home out of a piece of wood, he will carve it and crave it. Huh? But wood is necessary. Without wood, you cannot create a design. So wood plus so these two things are necessary. But this universe, what are the two elements? What are the elements which make this matter? And that means there is some conscious entity behind, and there is some material aspect. Is that the cause? The question. So it says that is so. What is the nature of the cause? And this cause is Brahman is the material cause or the efficient cause. That's why. What about the universe? Kutasma jata. Where did we come from? We are born. We are born from where? Where do we come from? Kutasma jata. Some people might say, why waste time with such questions? They are irrelevant. The people had nothing better to do, so they waste their time discussing these things. But these questions are very important. Unless you look into these things, you never go to the heart of the problem. Here is the heart of the problem. Where do we come from? One big question. Where do we come from? Jiva Mokena, who supports us? Who is supporting us? This breath is going on every day. What is the support behind it? A robot. Each body is each one is a robot, no? Yeah. The hand does not function like that. There is somebody behind that to control. Some energy is necessary. What is that energy? Anyhow, so those are the questions. Jiva Amakeno, who supports us? Kacha Sampratishtha. Where shall we go when we die? After death, where shall I go? See, really it is mystery. So much philosophy we talk about. But when it comes to us, our personal life, just think, I'm talking today and gone. And where shall I go? The body will remain here and they will burn the body. But where do I go? This is a big question. And this is an eternal question. Well, how many times it has been said, its response has been given. But this question remains unsolved unless one realizes the self. What happens to us? This question had the Nochiketa had this question in the Jamas in the Katha Upanishad. The Nochiketa went to his Jama's house to question this. You are the god of death. Tell us. But where shall we go? You say that we go to heaven. Okay, so teach me how to go to heaven. And then after teaching, learning, he said, okay, but that is also temporary. You go to heaven and stay there for a limited time period. Then you have to come back again into the world to do more good karma. So where is the eternal freedom? So this question Nochiketa also asked Jama in the Katha Upanishad. What happens to a person when one dies? Where does he go? Does death mean that he no longer exists? Or that there is a complete extinction, or does something remain? Huh? After death, does something remain? This is the question. Udhishthitaha kena, by whom are we controlled? Who is controlling our life? Who decides our fate? Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are unhappy. Who controls us, putting us sometimes in the midst of joy and sometimes in the midst of sorrow? No one says, I am always happy. In the world, no one can say, I am always happy. No one can say, I am always in a sorrow mood. No, it changes. So, Vartamahi, Vartamahi Vyavastham, who we live according to some plan, some schedule. Everything seems to be prearranged as if something or someone is controlling us. I am not my own master. If I were my own master, I would have said, I will be happy all the time. I will laugh all the time. But this does not happen. I am not my own master. Who then master? Who is my master? It's a very realistic question, no? Who wants any suffering? But if you are the master, you could have kept your joy all the time. If you are the master, you should be always happy. But that does it happen in anyone's life in the world? Then what? The who controls? Who is behind you or me to direct our life, to give direction to this? So these are all the scholar out of respect addresses the other as knowers of Brahman. You know the truth. Question is that you know the truth, you are a scholar, tell me. So this is the exchange. That's a wonderful idea. They're talking about the spiritual truth. This is the way one starts discussion. You have to start the issue, no? The fundamental issue, who is the cause, whatever, where this world comes from. Is Brahman or anything else? And today we read in the Bhagavad, time, then causation, nature, prakriti, all these are they discussed in the Bhagavad. So you see, if you can tally and connect both them, that will be wonderful. So let us see now, we understand the first verse. Let me see how the Swami here, Swami is the Tagishananda Swami. He has written this translation. Brahmavadino, he is saying, Brahmavadino means the students of Brahman. Vadanti discuss. Kim, what karanam, what is the cause? Brahman is the cause. Kuto, whence or why, jatasma, are we are born. Keno, due to what? Jivamo, we live. Kahcha sampratishtha, where and final rest. Keno, by whom and what? Odhishthita, control. Sukhotareshu, in happiness and in misery. Brahma Vido, knower of Brahman. Vyavastham means law, Vartamaya. Meaning, student of Brahman, the Vedas discuss among themselves what is the cause. Is it Brahman? Whence are we born? Why do we live? Where is our final rest? Under whose order are we who know the Brahman subjected to the law of happiness and misery? So these are the all fundamental questions. And then he has given explanation. One point. Note, the Upanishad begins with an account of a discussion carried on by some students. Here, this book says is some students are like us discussing about the cause, this, etc. But the Lokeshwarananda Swami said there are scholars. Students are scholars, and they are pandits. They are learned people, well versed in these scriptures. So they see each other and start discussion. So the Upanishads begin with an account of a discussion carried on by some students of the Veda with regard to the ultimate problem of philosophy and religion. Cause. The first doubt deals with the problem of causation. What is the cause of this universe? Is causation theory. It analyzes itself as follows. What is the nature of causation? Is it necessary that everything should have a cause? If so, What is the final cause of this universe? Can it be Brahman? How can the absolute Brahman, unrelated to anything else, the one without a second, be the cause of anything? It's impossible. Huh? If God, Brahman is absolute, so that cannot be the cause of anything material. If at all it could be the same cause, then what is the nature of this causal Brahman? Is it the material cause or the efficient cause or both? Or can it be the same, some other non spiritual entity such as time, nature, as I was talking about, etc., is the first cause and not Brahman? All these seem to be condensed in the first question raised. So, the very first question is raising this all these finer questions. Whence are we born? The next question is with regard to the mystery of creation. Why should the universe come into existence? If at all it is a thing created, how can the imperfect come out of the perfect, the finite out of the infinite? If it is not created, why should it appear to be an effect? And why should everything in this universe seem to have the necessity of having an origin? If man in his real nature is Brahman itself, why should there be so many variety in this world? Why should Brahman forsake its supreme bliss and take on this individual aspect? These seem to be the part of the second doubt. So, second doubt is where we are born, why we are born, or where from we are born. That question leads to so many finer, intricate questions. Why do we live? That is third question. The third doubt is that regard to the mystery of the life itself, the origin of life, its purpose, its realization, relation to the rest of the universe, and allied questions are implied in it. So, why do we live? What is the purpose of living in this life? Fourth question, where is our final rest? It deals with the mystery of death, the fate of the individual after death, where he is annihilated, reborn, or absorbed in the Brahman, is a matter of deep interest in the religious mind. Under whose orders this world is going on? The last doubt deals with the problem of evil. Why should there be suffering in this world? If man is free and is master of himself, would he willingly choose the life of suffering? How can the existence of suffering under a merciful providence be explained? We always question why so much war? Why the innocent people have been killed? Why in Israel this is happening? Why? This is a big question. So, if a man is free, if we are saying we are free, then we can build our own future. But it is not so. We are controlled by something else. What is that control power? Are there proper methods of escape from this way? If this is the problem, can we get out of this way? Why does not man have recourse to those methods and be free, especially those who know these methods from a study of the scriptures? So this is the question. So we leave our study today with the questions, and then we'll follow these responses. One response of the first question, second question, like that. Okay. Anything? There is question? Right. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Panamastu. So tomorrow will be gospel reading, and I will be there to read the gospel. And one question, we are told we must control our senses, and as told, we must relinquish control to God. This puzzles me. If we are actually I,
No one.
one, does it mean no action is imperfect? It is theoretically we are actually one. Are you feeling that you are one? Am I feeling that I am one with the perfect God? Then there is no problem. Why to control senses? If you are perfect, you see God everywhere. There is no two. So the control of our senses, we are told we must control because senses and it makes distinction. My eyes see the difference between you two, but in truth, that is only one Satchidananda. I don't see that. It is a theoretical talk. In my um, few uh, lines we have read from different scriptures, and I say, I am one with Brahman. But I have no concept about that. So long I am in duality, so therefore we must have to uh, give the control uh, to Him because God is the controller and we are only part of that. So, and when you get out, relinquish your total ego, then you will see it is God only or it is Brahman only. So, this is no puzzle. If we are actually one, does it mean no action is imperfect? No, all actions are actions. Unless you see that you are one, totally experience that, not talking only. So then we'll have to work with it. Sadhus bless worldly people with word Narayana. Is the Narayana blessing to invoke divinity or remembrance of God? Yes, we always say, oh, sadhus talk, see each other, and they say, in the Himalayas, if you see a monk, they exchange each other, Om Namo Narayana. I salute you, Narayana in you. And you say, I salute Narayana in you. So, Om Namo Narayana, or this is a mantra. So, sadhus bless worldly people with the word Narayana? Maybe, but no. It's the Narayan is invoked to remember Narayana that he is in your heart. Who are you? You are guided by Narayana. In your heart there is Narayana, and I salute Narayana. If a Jivan Mukta knows that he is a Jivan Mukta, will that give rise to ego? No. If a Jivan Mukta realizes the liberation, then his ego is there. But Ramakrishna says his ego will be like burnt, what you call burnt, uh,
Like a bird rope.
burnt rope. It looks like a rope, but it has no power to bind. See, you keep the rope here and put it into fire. The shape will remain like the rope, but you take it to tie something. As soon as you tie it, is all lashes. So when a Jivan Mukta, their ego appears to be ego, but they are beyond ego. Is that ego akin to the ripe ego? Yes, that is the ripe ego. Thakur said, the unripe ego is our ego. My identity is strong with this body, this mind, this emotion. But actually, ripe ego is that it's a pure ego which always connected with the divine. So they appear to be ego. They also eat. They say, "I will do this." They also may say, they may be seen to be angry, scolding somebody, but doing some action. But their ego in itself, there is no ego. Like a child's ego. Child's ego. Thakur said, 5 years child. No? Their ego is there. Huh? We're hearing one story. One boy came, very small young boy, 5 years, Nirvana. Nirvana, that boy who came, child, 5 years born. So one day he got hungry and he got something. Whatever he got, ate. Mom is saying, don't eat, don't eat. Now I am hungry. So, and then he was eating so much. After eating, he said, I want water. So they drank water. And then after water, he said, okay, now shall I give you, you like it? Shall I give you one packet more? No, I don't need it. I keep it, you may need it. He said, no, I don't need it. If I need, my mommy will give me. That means, it appears that he's so interested in eating that item and he's not letting go and eating and eating and eating. And when the belly's tummy is full and he drank the water, that's done. and no, he does not know how to collect something for future. Because like a birds, you see, birds are hungry. They go here and there and pick something, and their stomach is full, and they go into the and started chirping. No, Hurry, will you collect something for the afternoon? There is no feeling of afternoon. So Brahmagyanis live like that. They appear to be hungry, they appear to be sleeping, they appear to be talking, but their ego is not like our ego. It appears to be ego. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
One more question.
Our question now. I end it. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad mentions that the Brahman should not indulge in contemplating many words since they tire the organs of speech, the vocal cord. When Bihara mentioned that the Brahman should not indulge in Bihara is what? Bihara.
Could you explain what this means?
Brahman is not the Bihara. I do not know what I said.
He says she's saying that Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 4.4.21 mentions that Brahman should not indulge in contemplating many words, since they tire the organ of speech. They are beyond that because you can't explain it, the vocal cord. Could you please explain what does it mean?
I cannot say it now.
Maybe she means the Brahmin,
Ah,
the Brahmin, the Pandit.
ah.
Should-
Oh, Brahmin and Brahman.
I,
Ah.
I think maybe she just.
I think no, I think you are talking about Brahman. 4.4.21 in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I'll have to check what is there, so I can talk to you later on that. Please keep it for future. Okay, thank you. Okay, next time we'll do that.
It's only one verse.
One.